Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. So I know you've been challenging and heard about, with Charles Campbell coming into the season. He's been a reliable guy for you guys in the past, but how are you challenging him to kind of take what he's done so far? He's only missed one kick in his career and even step it up from that.
Yeah, I think for him, it's he is a very confident young man, but you got to remind him that this season's a brand new season. He was second team All Big Ten last year. He was not first team All Big Ten. So you want something to strive for and a goal. Obviously, he wants to be first team All Big Ten. I think Coach Allen does a tremendous job of keeping our guys level-headed and challenging those guys that, hey, you get these preseason accolades. It doesn't mean anything for this year. It's great, right? But it's based off of what you've done in the past. Now, what are you doing now? What are you doing in the present? Playing in the present every single day. So for him, we've just tried to keep him. And he's a confident kid, but he's very level-headed. He's not arrogant. He goes about his business, does his job. But for him, it's just a constant reminder that this is a new season. Just like the Indiana Hoosiers are 0-0. The preseason ranking is great, but how are we going to finish?
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well. Kind of going off of that with Charles, being a kicker as someone that has to come in high-pressure situations, is there anything specifically you do, whether it be on the field, off the field, to kind of just work on his mental preparation, his mental readiness for him when he has to come into a tough situation?
Yeah, Coach Allen, we have periods during practice where we know certain teams are live, and so guys are just sitting on edge. And he may call you, he may not. He'll say, hey, PAT field goal could be up this period. So in a 20-minute period, they're standing there waiting. Are we going, are we not? Are we going, are we not? And it is the pressure. And then, boom, ball's down, he blows a whistle. One PAT, and they got to hustle out and kick it. So we try to just put him in those game situations as much as possible, just for the mental stability of things. He's, like I said, he's already a pretty confident young man. So his mind is ready to answer the call when called upon, but we try to create those opportunities throughout practice as much as we can.
I think you guys talked in the preseason about James and all the leg talent he's got and basically just sort of turning him a little bit more into a football player and understanding kind of where he fits. I mean, we're a couple weeks in now. How much progress do you think he's made, not just in terms of obviously being able to punt well, but just being able to fit on the field well?
Good. I mean, he's taking steps every single day. It's a learning curve for him. There's no doubt about it. So every single day is something new. Today we put our backed up punt in. We had that. I don't know if you guys are out. We had the volume turned up loud. That's probably the first time he's ever had to kick in that scenario, trying to just simulate, hey, playing at the shoe or playing in Iowa City. Just those guys are right on top of you. So that's every single day. It's something that we're throwing at him. He's learning from. He got the ball off. Gives a good, decent kick, good hang time. So you just try to prepare him the best you can and put him in those scenarios. I think he has grown a lot from the football IQ level. Hey, this is why we protect it this way. This is why we're kicking this hash this way, and those things and so on and so forth. So just growing it every day. But he's taking it in stride, and he'll come up and get extra meeting time and things like that.
Oh, hey, Coach. So I know you just talked about you guys were blasting the loudspeaker today, to emulate the crowd noise or whatever. But how different, I know Charles Campbell had a great year last year. How different is it going to be for him to kick in front of like Iowa City, for example, week 1?
It's totally different. Right. It is. You got to find the guys, though, that know how to tune it out. I do think he is one of those type of young men. We'll know. But again, bowl game wasn't. I know it wasn't sold out. It was limited capacity, but there was more fans at the bowl game than we ever had, and I thought he played phenomenal. I thought he kicked unbelievable in the bowl game. So, and on a different type of surface that he's not usually accustomed to kicking on. The grass in Florida is a little bit different. So, I thought he answered that call really well. Like I said, you try to simulate those segments as much as possible. When we had the PAT field goal unit out there, I told him to turn up the volume again on him. So, you just try to create those situations as much as possible. I think he's such a confident young man, and he knows that his job is that he'll be fine.
How are you feeling about your return units and your coverage units at this point?
Really good. DJ Matthews is awesome. I know you guys asked me some questions about him, and I trust him. I think he's going to be a great weapon for us. Reese Taylor's as steady as they ever come. I trust him. Then you got Dave, who looks good, and you got Jacoby Hewitt, who can do some things as well, returning the ball. I think we got a bevy of backs that could be dangerous for us in the kick return game. Like I said before, it's about getting the other 10 guys to do their job. That was kind of our focus for today, setting up some returns in the punt return game. So I liked what I saw on the field. Obviously, I'll let the tape speak for itself when I go watch it, but it's more technique and fundamentals for the other 10 guys. I think we got great returners. I really do. But it's getting the other 10 guys to do their job to the best of their ability.
I want to ask you about the Husky, in particular Marcelino. What's just obviously impressed you with him coming back after the injury, and just how have you sort of seen him evolve and sort of, just sort of deal with this perspective he has of having had to miss a second year?
Yeah, I think for him, it's the maturity level's tenfold for him. He is so locked in. He is so focused. He knows what his goals and aspirations are. He's a leader. He's a vocal guy for that room. He really is. And not only for him, but for other guys as an example, just how hard he plays, how hard he practices. All summer long, he was grabbing individuals, younger guys. Chris Keys, let's go. We're going to go do footwork on their own on Saturdays and the weekends. He had this little group out here. They were working all the time doing ladders. And just his maturity level, the way he carries himself, I think his game is refined. I think he's really focused a lot on his man-to-man technique, his work there. That was a huge emphasis for him 2 years ago before he got hurt, and this offseason as well, just his footwork, his hands. We know he's a physical specimen, and he's physical, and he's a great tackler and those type of things. So just the ability to pressure and blitz him and play man-to-man it'll be a great weapon for us, and Coach Warren as well.
Following up on a Tyler's question on just mentality throughout the game, today at practice, Charles, some of the other kickers spend a lot of time, by themselves just kicking on the net, really without coaches around them. Or today at the end, Charles came in the 2-minute drill situation, missed the field goal, goes off to the side, just by himself at that point. Are there specific skills you're teaching them, just a psychology standpoint? I don't know, kind of more than just saying keep your head up, or things you can do with them to help them kind of, stay confident when it's just so easy when you're standing there by yourself to kind of just second guess everything?
Sure. We do talk about just mental preparation from that standpoint and visualizing the kick before you actually do it. You got to think, a kicker like him, he could go all game, and in the last 30 seconds of the game, it could be 0-0, and we're kicking a field goal to win. I mean, he could have a situation where he doesn't step foot on the field for 59 minutes and 30 seconds, and now he's on. And so that is mentally taxing on those guys. They have practice routines that we do, so we chart during practice too, even though we have a PAT field goal period. Those guys are off doing different things. They work on their kickoff skills, whether it be surprise onside or pop kicks or sky kicks or just deep left or right, wherever we're kicking. They work on those things as well, and we schedule all that out for them every single week, so we don't overkick them. But just the mental side of things, just keeping them engaged. We do have a therapist that some guys choose to talk to, some don't. But we do talk about those things all the time, of visualizing the kick before you go see it, and lining up. Even though you're kicking into a net, visualize the goalpost, not the net. And it's all about the steps and the plant foot and the follow through.
Coach, you mentioned DJ and Reese in the punt return game. I guess, what specifically have you liked out of what they've done so far, and also kind of areas that you want to see them improve?
I would say what I've liked is definitely their ability to handle the football. Just catch it clean, get north and south. They're confident. We got guys running down the field at them, but they're standing there, right? They trust the guys on the field just to catch it, get north and south. I think we need to, and I haven't quite challenged DJ to this yet, but for Reese, I always tell those, you're going to have to make somebody miss, right? Because the punter, you only got 10 other guys that's got to block 11. So you're going to have to, at points, make somebody miss. We watched clips this morning as a unit of Ja'Shawn Harris. Ja'Shawn Harris was great at making guys miss, finding the seam, and then he was gone, right? Shane Wynn was very similar to that. So, those are the type of things that we're kind of looking for, those guys that can, hey, you're going to have to make someone miss, find the seam, and hit it. Set up your blocks, read your blocks. Very similar to a running back running outside, inside zone. They got to see it, see the cutback before it develops, and then hit it. Just those type of things I'd like to see him do a little bit better.
Going back to Marcelino and talking about maturity, I know this is something that he kind of didn't get a chance to show last season, but I think I remember him talking last sort of summer, maybe late summer, about how that little pod he wound up in with a lot of young guys, and that he felt like he learned a lot out of maybe working with a lot of young players and needing to be sort of that leader and more mature in those sorts of things. I mean, it's kind of a year late because of the injury, but do you see some of that too, and maybe the experiences of last year and what he was asked to do last season before the injury and what he is now as a player?
Yeah, it's awesome. So he went to Coach Wellman and asked to be in the 6 a.m. lift group. You don't find a lot of upperclassmen that want to get up at 6 a.m. We put all our freshmen during the summer, make them get up early. Older guys that get to sleep in a little bit. Lino asked to be in that group. That's his mindset. Like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to work, I bring my lunch pail every single day, right? And then he grabs those young guys and brings them along with him. And I think that's why, like a year ago when Chris Keys was a freshman, and he just pops to mind, but there's several other guys. He was with those guys, pushing them every single day in workouts. And you got to think, if you're a freshman coming into the Big Ten, and you look over at the rack next to you, and Marcelino ball's lifting, you're like, shoot, man, I got to put some weight on. You put some more weight on the bar. So I think it was just a mental, but that was him saying, I want to be the leader of this group. I'm an older guy. And he would be the first to tell you, he had John Crawford. John Crawford was one of Lino's closest friends. T. Gray Scales was one of Lino's closest friends when they were here, right? Lino wears 9 because of JC9. So, but he was an older guy that took him under his wing and helped develop those guys. T. Gray was the same way with him. And I think he's trying to do that. He's trying to build that legacy, but the maturity to ask, to go to your strength coach, hey, coach, I don't need to sleep, and I'm getting up, I'm working out, and I'm bringing guys with me. That's building a program. And being in it and seeing it grow, we got guys like that now, and you wouldn't have that several years ago.
Yeah, Tom Allen's talked about the importance of a good long snapper. You have one of the best in the Big Ten. How has he helped the special teams and especially James Evans' development?
Yeah, I think he's best in the country. I'll be honest with you. I'll put my name on it. I know that's gutsy, but I do believe it. We were looking at PAT field goal times yesterday. Our operation time on PAT field goal is in average with what I do in the NFL, and that's because of the snap. Now our hold's got to be there too. But I'll tell you what Sean does great is he is a leader of those guys. And he gets on James when he needs to get on James, but he's positive when he needs to get on, when he needs to be positive. The positive reinforcement when you got somebody that's coming in from a new country and, he's learning the game of football like we talked about and just he doesn't understand the practice mantra and everything, so you're trying to grow him and develop in that series as well. I think Sean has really developed him in those sense along with myself. So he's just he is the leader of the room. I text him separately a lot and challenge him to challenge those guys as a unit, even though you've got an all-conference kicker. But it makes such a difference, for example, if we're going to kick to the right, that ball be placed on the right hip. And we got different punters. Some guys like it chest, some guys like it hip. Some guys don't mind it by the thigh. Some want it here in the midsection. And Sean knows where he's got to put it. And very seldomly is Sean not on point. And when he isn't on point, no one's harder on Sean than himself. And I think that's what makes him so great. He knows he's capable of getting the job done to a high ability. And when he doesn't answer that call, he challenges himself every day.